Hello! So today I'm going to be reviewing Morningstar by Pierce Brown, the third book in the Red Rising saga. You can find links to my previous two reviews for the first and the second book in the description box below. But to quickly sum up my thoughts on the first two books, the first book was alright, but it had some clear issues. The second book was very good. Much better dialogue, much better pacing, much better world building. I still had some issues with the second book though. I didn't feel emotionally connected to the characters, and I figured out that this was mainly down to the first person POV. And Brown's descriptions in the second book, which were better, more succinct than the first, still left me wanting a little bit. I just didn't feel like I was there. I was living and breathing in the planet's world solar system that he was creating. I do understand that these books are about the fast-paced action and that bloating them down with loads and loads of world building would actually stunt what these books are trying to be, but there is something in, especially the second one, where I just wanted it to be pushed a little bit further. Everyone said that these books get better as they go along, and they were not wrong. This book, my lord, is so much better than the first. I'm going to try and keep this review of this book spoiler-free. However, I am going to be talking about things that happen a little bit in this book. Therefore, what I say will definitely ruin the first two books. So if you haven't read these two books, I do suggest you click off now, as there will be some spoilers going down. But if you have read the first two books and haven't read this book, have no fear, I'm not going to be ruining this book. And if you haven't read any of the books, you don't intend to read any of the books, you just don't care about this book series, but you're here just for the happy fun times, then go ahead, fill your boots. Bloody hell, this is complicated. I've never reviewed a series before, and this is why, because I have no idea what I can say, what I can't say, what people are going to consider a spoiler. It's tough. Anyway, let's do a quick catch-up leading up to the events of this book. Red Rising. Darrow is 16 years old, he is a Red, the lowest rung on the social ladder, and he lives within a small mining community. Shit goes down. He joins the Red Rebellion. He gets turned into a Gold, and the Golds are the highest rung on this social ladder. He needs to take down the Golds from the inside. He passes the exams and he gets into the Institute. In order to move on from the Institute onto your future career path as a Gold, you must survive and win this medieval hunger game. Darrow wins! Book 2, The Golden Sun. Darrow is now 20 years old and he is in the academy and he must now pass his final exam in order to captain his own fleet. Things don't go to plan. He loses his position, and as his new fate is being decided, an all-out war starts up between two rivaling families. And then a lot of shit happens. Chapter twist. Chapter twist. Amazing action. Political games. Twist. Twist. Tons of fun action. All out war. And then we end the second book with a Red Wedding style event and Darrow is captured. And now we're up to date. Book 3, Morningstar. This is going to be really tough to talk about because like anything past page 3 is a spoiler. Basically, this book is very similar to book 2. Except the stakes are now higher, we travel to more worlds and planets in this book, and now the whole solar system has a stake in this war and its outcome. Although not specifically stated, I think Darrow is about 24 in this book. And Darrow's actions in the second book have now led to an all-out revolution among the Reds. The effects of the war and revolution have left the solar system in chaos, and now everyone is striving and fighting for their survival or the position of their own house. We have just as many twists, loads of political manipulation, and tons of all-out war games in which each side is plotting to outmaneuver the other side. It's not got quite as high a body count as the second book, but Pierce Brown is not afraid to kill off his characters, and yeah, we still get a lot of that going down in this book. And this book is by far the darkest of all three. This definitely goes there a little bit more. We still have the first-person perspective, which is a shame because it doesn't particularly work for me in this style of book with so many characters and so many worlds. I would really enjoy to be able to jump around a little bit more, but Pierce Brown does a really good job with the palette that he's working with. But yeah, that limited palette still doesn't quite do it for me. But good news is, a subscriber on my last video told me that things do change up in book 4, which has made me very happy. Woo! Oh, and we do meet a fair few new characters in this book. 2 new characters we meet in this book who are from Earth, and from memory we haven't met too many characters from Earth in this book, are called Holiday and Trig, and I absolutely loved them. But we don't get too much time with them. Holiday and Trig are full of banter, they're quick-witted, they're funny, they're deadly, they're just awesome. Everything you would kind of really want Darrow to be. Darrow's just so bland. I'd love to read a book just about Holiday and Trig and their build-up to the start of this book. I just want to spend a bit more time with them, really. And I cannot overstate how little time we spend with them, but I don't know, there was just something about their energy and their presence in this world that was like, oh yes, these are the type of characters I want to see in a world like this. Anyway, I'm going to stop that there because I'm definitely going off on a massive tangent. I think all in all, that's all I can really say about this book without ruining it for you. And it definitely reaches a definitive conclusion, which makes me believe that maybe this was intended to be a trilogy. Now, I've done no research on these books. The only thing I was ever told was that they were really good and they got better as they went along. That was it. That's all I knew about them. So everything I'm learning about these books, I'm learning for the first time. So in my head, and you could let me know in descriptions below if I'm right or wrong, in my head, I finished this book and I was like, oh, we're done. That feels like a complete conclusion of this arc, so maybe it was intended to be a trilogy and Pierce Brown was just so into this world he decided to write more books, or maybe the next 3 are going to be another trilogy and it's going to be like a series of books made up of 2 trilogies. That's what I'm predicting, that's what it feels like. Let me know if I'm right or wrong in the comments below. So what did I like and what didn't I like? What I liked, the action is just awesome. The twists are really fun and always feel warranted in the world Pierce Brown has created. I'm still loving that feeling of anything can happen. No one's safe in this book series, and that's really cool. I really liked how this book went more into the struggles of the power balance within the Red Rebellion itself. Severo and Darrow, their relationship and their sort of struggles for power, it just enriches this book even more. It just adds another layer to what we already had. Cassius's journey in this book is also a lot more richly layered, and we go a lot deeper with his character to that kind of final conclusion point. Yeah, I really enjoyed it for that as well. Pierce Brown has just raised the complexities and the intricacies of the relationships in this book that little bit more, and yeah, I just really enjoyed it for that. I really enjoyed the new worlds that we travel to, the clans and the people that we meet there. It's just enriching this book series even better, and it's doing everything a sequel should do in that sense. I'm going to sound like a broken record, but this book, like book 2, is just tons of fun. It's really, really fun. I really love how fast-paced it is, and it builds really, really well. A proper sci-fi page-turner. What didn't I like? For those of you who have watched my past 2 videos, you know exactly what I'm going to say. I still don't like Darrow. I find him so beige. He is so in the middle. It's like such an everyman trope in which he's really good and he's really moral, but look, he does have these few flaws, but not enough to make you dislike him, just enough. He is so perfectly balanced, it just leaves him feeling beige, and he has no sense of humour. He might crack a joke or 2, maybe 2 jokes max in this book, but he's really bland. I don't know what else to say. I just find him so bland. Darrow does have a conversation with a small child on one of the moons in which he's trying to convince a family to come join the war. And that conversation with the kid only lasts like a page and a half. But I will say that 1 page and a half of him having that conversation is the closest to an emotional connection or kind of feeling close in an emotional way to Darrow I have felt yet throughout these 3 books. So yeah, there is hope. There is hope in that regard. It's the same as the second book, really. I do feel connected and close to all the characters in this book, and when bad things happen to them, I do feel bad, you know? But I'm just not connected on an emotional way. There's not enough depth in the writing, or we're not giving enough access to the depth of the different characters for me to ever feel like shedding a tear over anyone in this book. And that was something I was hoping this 3rd book would rise up to, but it hasn't quite. It is better, but still not where I'd like it to be. And the descriptions are better. I will say I did get a slightly better sense of place and location in this book. I was never ever really lost in this book at times like I was in the second one. In the second one, we would suddenly just switch locations and I wouldn't be given grounding in how we had got there, how we had moved there, what was happening. It would just suddenly be like, oh, I didn't think we were in this place, or oh, I didn't think this place looked like that, and I've spent 10 pages here. So this book was better in that regard. I was never lost, but still, and I'm sounding like a broken record, I would just want the descriptions and the way of bringing me into this world just to be given a little bit more time. Now, this isn't a dislike, but it's something I've been thinking about as I've been going through this book series, and I think I'm wanting just a little bit more sort of creativity in the world building. There's nothing in the way that the system works, that the technology works, or anything that we're being given that makes me go, ooh, that's really smart, or ooh, That's so creative. I've not had that feeling once. If you think about Adrian Tchaikovsky and the creativity that he puts into his science fiction, I think that's what these books are just lacking a little bit. But that's it for my dislikes. This book is very similar to the second one. It is so much fun, utterly, and I mean utterly addictive, with wonderful twists and just awesome, awesome action. I'm going to give it the same rating as I gave the second book, 3.5 stars out of 5. It was very good. I'd be hard pressed to say which is better out of these two. They're very similar in writing style and pace. They do have their differences. I would say that Golden Sun is a lot more fast-paced action, moving around, backstabbing twists, people dying, whereas Morningstar takes its time a little bit more. It's a lot more darker, and we spend a bit more time on the kind of intellectual outmaneuvering of each other. But they just sit really close together. So to sum up, that's 2 stars for Red Rising, I thought it was alright, 3.5 stars for Golden Sun, it was very good, and 3.5 stars for Morningstar, which was also very good. I've got a feeling that I'm going to be hitting a 4-star excellent with the next book in this series, especially as I know going in that we're finally getting rid of that first-person Darrow perspective. Maybe even 5 stars fantastic. So, have you read Morningstar? What did you think about it? Did you love it? Did you hate it? And also, out of the second and the third book, which one's your favourite? Because I put them very close together, but I'd be really interested to know in the comments below if you like maybe Golden Sun more than this one, or this more than Golden Sun. Yeah, let me know. I'm just intrigued. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. I hope you're well, and I'll see you all on the next one. Bye.